The gallows creak in the morning wind. 13 bodies swaying like broken pendulums above Port Royal's harbor. You're watching from the deck of a stolen merchant sloop, spyglass pressed to your eye, counting the dead. That could be you up there. That will be you if they catch you. You lower the glass and turn to your crew. 11 men who smell like rum and desperation, who chose this life because every other option was worse. Welcome to 1715. You're a pirate captain now. You weren't born into this. 3 months ago, you were a sailor on a Royal Navy frigate, pulling ropes for pennies while officers dined on pheasant. Then, your captain ordered 50 lashes for a man who stole bread. You watched him die slowly, back torn to ribbons, screaming until his voice gave out. That night, 8 of you stole a longboat and rowed into darkness. Now you're here, anchored off Tortuga, planning your first real prize. Your ship is a disaster. The sloop's hull leaks, the sails have more patches than original canvas, and your largest cannon is a rusted 4-pounder that might explode if you fire it. But she floats, and she's fast. And speed is everything when you're outgunned by every Navy vessel in the Caribbean. The crew watches you, waiting for orders. There's Samuel, the navigator who can read stars like printed text, but can't read actual text. There's Dutch Pete, who speaks 5 languages and has knife scars across both palms from bar fights in 3 different countries. And there's young Thomas, barely 16, who lied about his age to escape a father who beat him daily. None of them know you've never commanded anything larger than a rowboat. You're 23 years old, faking confidence you don't possess. You spread a stolen chart across a barrel. The shipping lanes are marked in fading ink. Merchant routes from the American colonies to Europe, fat vessels loaded with tobacco, sugar, indigo. Your finger traces a line. Here, you say, pointing to a channel between 2 islands. We wait in the shallows. Let them come to us. What if it's a warship? Dutch Pete asks. Then we run. Simple answer. Honest answer. Pirates don't fight warships unless they're suicidal or desperate. You're desperate, but not that desperate. You spend 2 days preparing. The crew practices boarding drills, swinging from ropes, screaming like demons to terrify merchant sailors into surrender without a fight. Because here's what they don't tell you about piracy. Actual combat is rare. Most merchant crews surrender immediately when they see the black flag. They're not paid enough to die for someone else's cargo. Smart captains know this. You hope you're smart. Dawn breaks on the 3rd day. Your lookout spots a sail, a merchant brig, riding low in the water. Heavy cargo, maybe 60 feet long, probably carrying 12 guns, but likely only half of them functional. Merchant ships cut costs everywhere. You raise your flag, not the famous skull and crossbones, but a plain black banner that means the same thing. No quarter, surrender or die. The brig tries to run. Your sloop is faster. You close the distance, your crew howling like wolves, firing muskets into the air. The brig's captain looks through his spyglass at your ship, at your screaming men, at the black flag snapping in the wind. He lowers his colors. Smart man. You board with 10 men, leaving 1 to guard your ship. The merchant crew huddles on deck, terrified, while you stride toward the captain. He's older, gray-bearded, eyes cold with calculation. Take what you want, he says. Just leave us alive. You nod. Your men disappear below deck, hauling up barrels of rum, crates of tobacco, bolts of silk. But there's something else down there. Something the captain's eyes flickered toward when you mentioned searching the hold. That's when you find it, hidden beneath false floorboards. Not cargo, not supplies, gold. Spanish doubloons, hundreds of them, stamped with the seal of the crown. This isn't merchant cargo. This is royal treasury. Your heart stops. Gold means wealth. Yes, but Spanish gold means war. The crown doesn't forgive theft from the king. Your crew doesn't care. They're already stuffing coins into their pockets, grinning like children. Dutch Pete slaps your shoulder. We're rich, he shouts. You look at the merchant captain. His expression hasn't changed. He knew this moment was coming. Where were you taking this? You ask. Havana, he says quietly. Payment for the garrison. Military payroll. Even worse. You have maybe 3 days before Spanish warships start hunting you. Every harbor becomes a trap. Every sail on the horizon becomes a potential death sentence. But your crew is celebrating, and you can't show fear. Not now. You divide the gold. Equal shares for every man, just like you promised. Democracy matters when your crew can vote you out and elect someone else as captain tomorrow. Pirate ships run on consent, not authority. You keep the largest share, captain's privilege, but not by much. Enough to command respect without breeding resentment. The merchant brig sails away, lighter and humiliated, but alive. You don't kill unless you have to. Dead merchants tell no tales, but they also make every future target fight to the death. Better to let them spread word that surrender means survival. You sail south, avoiding major ports. Tortuga is too obvious. Port Royal has too many Royal Navy patrols. You need somewhere lawless, somewhere the Spanish won't look. You find it in a nameless cove on the Venezuelan coast. No town, no fort, just a beach and jungle. Perfect. Your crew buries most of the gold. Insurance policy in case the ship goes down. You keep enough to buy supplies and better weapons. Over the next year, you take 9 more prizes. Small ships, careful targets. You develop a reputation for being reasonable. Surrender fast, nobody dies, cargo gets stolen, everyone goes home. Other pirates are butchering crews and burning ships. But you're building something different. A brand. Captains start instructing their sailors to surrender immediately if they see your flag. It's working. Then you make your first real mistake. The prize is too tempting. A Spanish galleon supposedly carrying silver from Peru. Your crew votes to attack. You should say no, should recognize the trap. But the vote is 14-3, and captains who ignore votes end up floating face down in the Caribbean. The galleon is waiting. Of course it's waiting. You realize too late that merchant ships don't sail alone through pirate waters unless they're bait. The warships appear from behind a headland. 2 frigates, 40 guns each, flying Spanish colors. Your sloop can't outrun them, can't outfight them. You have one option. You run toward the shallows where deep-hulled warships can't follow. Your navigator is screaming coordinates. The water is getting lighter, shifting from deep blue to turquoise. The frigates are closing. They're bow chasers, firing. Cannonballs splash around your stern. Then you hear the sound every sailor dreads. Wood grinding against coral. Your ship shudders, lurches, stops. You're aground. The frigates slow, staying in deep water, but they don't need to close the distance. They have longboats. You watch them lower boats filled with Marines. 30 men, maybe more, rowing toward your stranded vessel. Your crew looks at you, waiting for the miracle that isn't coming. You're 24 years old. You've been a pirate for exactly 14 months. The Spanish don't take pirates alive. They hang them in cages at harbor entrances as warnings. You watch the longboats approach, sun glinting off bayonets, and you finally understand what your father meant about choices and consequences. Spanish gold in a leaking sloop. You're staring at enough wealth to buy a plantation, live like a gentleman, die in a bed instead of on a rope. The crew is already drunk on the idea of it. Samuels calculating how much a man can carry. Dutch Pete's talking about retiring to Amsterdam. Young Thomas just keeps laughing, high-pitched and slightly unhinged. You need to move fast. Every hour that passes is an hour closer to Spanish warships, realizing their gold never arrived. You order the merchant captain and his crew into their longboat with enough supplies to reach land. They row away without looking back, and you don't blame them. The gold gets divided into shares. 14 men, 14 piles, except yours is larger, captain's portion. Double share as agreed when they elected you. It's enough to make you dangerous, enough to make you a target. You've just graduated from petty thief to enemy of the Spanish crown. Your navigator plots a course away from major shipping lanes. No Havana, no Port Royal, nowhere the Spanish have influence. You sail west toward the lawless coast of Central America, where British authority is a joke and Spanish patrols are spread too thin to matter. The first night, you can't sleep. You keep thinking about those bodies swinging in Port Royal. The Spanish are worse. They don't just hang pirates, they display them in iron cages at harbor entrances. Let the sun and birds do the work slowly. You've seen it. Everyone has. But you've also seen poverty, watched good men starve because aristocrats needed another silk coat. The gold in your hold represents something else now. Not just wealth, freedom, the choice to never kneel again. 3 days later, you spot sails. Your lookout counts 2 ships, square rigged, moving fast. Spanish colors. Your stomach drops. They found you. Dutch Pete is already calling for the crew to prepare for a fight, but you're doing math in your head. 2 warships, probably 30 guns each. Your 4-pounder wouldn't dent their hulls. Running is the only option. Your sloop is lighter, faster in the right wind. The navigator pushes you toward a squall line on the horizon. Dark clouds, heavy weather, the kind of chaos that makes gunnery impossible and visibility worse. It's risky. Storms kill more sailors than combat. But certain death is chasing you, and possible death is straight ahead. You sail into the storm. Rain hammers the deck. Lightning turns everything white for split seconds. The ship pitches violently, waves breaking over the bow. You lose sight of the Spanish vessels. Either they turned back, or they're somewhere in this mess, hunting blind like you. When you emerge on the other side, the ocean is empty. No sails, no pursuit. You made it. The crew is battered, exhausted, but alive and rich. You find an isolated cove, bury most of the gold on an unmarked beach that only your navigator can find again. Insurance. Pirates who carry all their wealth on their ship tend to lose everything when the ship sinks. You keep enough to refit properly. New sails, better cannon, supplies that aren't moldy. Over the next 6 months, you take smaller prizes. Merchant ships carrying tobacco, sugar, rum, nothing that brings the full weight of naval power down on you. Your reputation grows. Other pirates know your name now. Merchants tell stories about the young captain who doesn't torture, doesn't kill unnecessarily, just takes the cargo and leaves. It makes you unusual. Maybe it makes you soft. But it keeps your crew alive and your targets cooperative. Then the vote comes. Your quartermaster, a scarred veteran named William, who's been pirating since before you were born, challenges your captaincy, says you're too cautious, leaving prizes on the table, turning down a tax that could make everyone wealthy. Pirate ships are democracies. The crew votes. It's close. 8 for you, 6 for William. You remain captain, but barely. The split tells you everything. Half your crew thinks you're too careful. They want blood and glory, not calculated risks. William accepts the vote, but his eyes promise this isn't over. You've made an enemy on your own ship, which is worse than any Navy patrol. The next prize you take, you let the crew have their way. A fat merchant vessel, heavily loaded, minimal resistance. Your men board like wolves, taking everything, destroying what they can't carry. It's wasteful, cruel, unnecessary, but it satisfies the bloodthirsty half of your crew. William nods approval. The split is healing, but you've compromised something. You're becoming what you swore you wouldn't be. That night, drunk on rum and success, Dutch Pete asks the question everyone thinks, but nobody says. How long do we have? You know what he means. Average pirate career lasts 2 years before death or capture. You're at 18 months. The odds are narrowing. Long enough, you lie and pour another drink. The Spanish gold bought you time, better weapons, a reputation. But it also painted a target. Somewhere in Havana or Port Royal or London, men in expensive coats are writing your name on lists. Bounties are being posted. Warships are being dispatched. You're living on borrowed time in a stolen ship, commanding men who might vote you out tomorrow, chased by empires that will never stop hunting.